How did this come about? How did it fall in your lap, and when did you start working on it?
So my wife and I, we adopted 2 of our kids. And during that process, my wife was working in Los Angeles, trying to work with churches to get them to adopt and foster more and everything related to that. And she came across his story and ended up, she was trying to find a speaker for a conference she was doing, and turned out to be Reverend Martin. So Bishop Martin now, is Reverend Martin back then,
right, in
the movie, and connected, got talking, and just, she was immediately hooked by this story. She just felt like this has to be made. And I'll just say quickly that it was the story that kind of floated around the foster and adopt space. We all kind of knew of this community somewhere.
Yeah, I've been on Oprah. Oprah had brought them on. Right?
The fact that like this movie is based on a true story, and you could actually, in the movie, in large detail, it explains everything. But the fact that it's kind of like overwhelmingly like, how could this even be real? And if it is, how did we not do something like this before?
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and so did you have part in writing?
Yeah, we both wrote it. Rebecca and I wrote together. We always write together.
Yeah.
And that took a while. I mean, so when this thing came to us, I looked at it and thought, 77 kids were adopted by 22 families. It's incredible. It's a lot of people.
These aren't families of great means.
No, these aren't child welfare workers. These are like average people like us, and they saw this need, heard about this need. I mean, real quickly, I can say Donna Martin broke ground. She felt called by God to go help kids who didn't have parents. And
you could see God, and just to even back that, a true Christian, a true man and a woman who fears the Lord. This is how I say, you might not be able to see God, but you could see God working.
Yeah.
You can't see wind, but you could see what the wind does to my hair, to the trees, to the atmosphere around me. You can't see the wind, but you could see the wind moving and what it does.
Yeah.
And when you see a man or a woman who fears God and they're moving, you see Christ through them. And the acting and the directing, it made me feel like I was there. So I want to take a page back. How did you find these actors? How long did it take you to get? Because, bro, even the children in this movie, bro.
Yeah, incredible.
I can't stop getting goosebumps. I hope you guys zoom in. Like, just the children is insane, bro.
Yeah, this goes way back to, I have to say this right now because I want everyone to know what you're experiencing. When I'm seeing you guys affected and others, I'm looking back going, this is all God.
Amen.
The story is him. He started it, catalyzed this in this woman's heart. And it grew into this thing. And what's amazing is to come alongside it as a creator and be given this honor to tell it. But everything about my wife and I is we want people to experience God. And we want them to experience God's heart. What we do has to transcend just the normal stories. That's our hope and goal and prayer. So we're seeing that right now. It's moving people. And when you hear crying, you think sad. And no, it's beautiful. You're so I feel those things, and we're part of making this. I feel stuff that you're feeling. It's crazy.
This is the best way for the people that are at home are watching. This is the best way, and this is the whole movie for 2 hours. This is how you're feeling. Those compilation videos of army men coming home and holding their children, or the dad showing up and the child didn't know, and all you hear is that one line of like, "Dad, I can't believe you're here," and you're just sitting there and you're melting. The whole movie made me feel like that, and you guys did an incredible job making 2 Christian individuals demand more from each other.
See, this is incredible.
Yeah.
I'll just say, I don't love Christian media. It's not my thing. I respect it. It's people love it or moved by it. But when I got a hold of this, I felt, when I started hearing the stories of these kids, that shook me. And I said, if we can get that on film, and if we can get that story authentically told, and not mess people up in the wrong way. You can go too far. But if we can be honest about this, then this is a powerhouse story. And that's through that wrestling with the story and figuring out how we could get it to work in a couple hours. That was the core of it. We got to get these kids' lives out there. We want people to understand what they go through so that we can respond to it, and the people who care for these kids. So we just work from that place of, this has got to be real. We can't tell this story. If you don't want to be real, then don't tell this story.
100%. And it's the fact, too, that you're able, because at the end of the day, a lot of people don't realize this truth. they're not aware of it, or they're aware of it, but you don't really know how bad it is until you can really see it on paper.
Yeah, you're like the foster system. We all know it's out there somewhere. Someone else is handling it.
Yeah.
No, I mean, this community said, there's kids in need. We're gonna just get our arms around them. That's the way the community is. Anytime anything happens in that community, it's like we band together around. I was there one time, and we're just having a meal, hanging out like we do. I'll get it. We moved near there, and they get a call, and one of the lady's nephews was killed in a drive-by shooting or something in Houston. Instantly, the whole place just erupts into prayer and weeping and support. Yeah, I mean, I just saw this moment of this is how it works. This is why they can do this, because they just are linked together deeply as friends and family.
There's aspects that Bella and I, we would just pause and look at each other and be like, we're just so proud of you guys for this aspect. God speak. There's no atheist in a foxhole. When somebody's in deep pressure, they have to look up to God. And there's this movement that you guys have in the movie. There's scenes where Martin is struggling with his wife, struggling with his adoptions, struggling with his children, and he sits there and he be still and he hears from the Lord and he takes that to the congregation. And he's standing there, not as a man who's like, I think this is how it is.
Right.
You see a man who keeps getting broken and rebuilt by God. And that aspect is what a real priest or a real pastor or a real man of God who's emulating who Christ is. It's not a man who doesn't suffer. It's a man who knows how to suffer. And this movie just spreads that beautifully. So I want to take another step back. Do you still have a relationship with this beautiful couple that started this movement?
Yeah. So when we started writing, we developed it for about, I don't know, 3 or 4 years.
How did you get the story from them? He wrote it to you?
When Rebecca met them, it was an immediate like, we should do,
Yeah.
We'd love to get this movie made. And
Yeah.
we said, well, I think we're the ones to do it. So, but we got to a point where we felt like, so we were living in LA at the time, there in East Texas. And, it just didn't feel like we'd hit the body, like in a good sense, we didn't hit the deep things. Like we really needed to get more. So we just felt like this is such a calling. We got to stay all in, like really, really mean this. And so we ended up moving to East Texas near this community, hoping that we could get closer to them and just get a better vantage point. And we got to meet a bunch of the kids and really have real conversations, not just like research meeting, kind of things. And I think that really brought what we were missing from this. And it's just a necessary part of this particular story because it's true. There's a lot of people, a lot of perspectives, a lot of experiences. And so that was our heart. We want to get beside what God's doing.
And you did, man. You really did. And this might be a spoiler, so we'll cut it out if you guys don't feel comfortable. But we probably will cut it out. I'll beep it out. I'll beep it out. But at the end, when I'm trying not to choke.
I know. Don't say it. Don't say it.
Where she goes. That was shot so perfectly for me to see his overwhelmingness of like God showed up. And I think that's what a lot of people right now in America are kind of dealing with. Like, God, where are you? Like, I need you to show up. And when he shows up, he shows out. And I think God spoke to them. And that scene, well, let's just put it this way. The movie's about God calling to this woman after she suffers. And he says, go find more life. And that calling was for that family. And your guys' calling was get up, go meet them. And so, like, just as much as they did their job, you guys did your job. And so, like, I have to give your guys' flowers. And you guys, and I can tell there's no pride. You guys are just giving it to the Lord. And that's how you know things are actually working. When you see somebody boast and be like, oh, I did this and I did this. But when you see somebody say, no, God just did this. You should know them by their fruits. And just spending 20 minutes before we even shot, your guys' fruits are so good, man. So good. And I'm excited about this movie. But I'm also excited about other projects that you guys are going to be doing because let's put it this way, man. I'll spend $20 for a movie ticket and I'll walk out of the movie. after spending $100 after like candy and popcorn and stuff. Because I'm like, bro, it's just rinse and repeat with this crap, dude. Like I'm bored and I'm tired of the agenda that they're putting in these movies.
Entertainment junk food.
Yeah, and it's just like
there's not a single project without, you know, I was telling you guys
no
earlier,
substance.
Everything is just wrapped and drowned in just like sexuality or just everything is so crude. You know what I mean? Just like that shock factor.
And you'll think a movie's going well, and then at the end it suddenly just goes fully nihilistic.
That's when we leave.
Yeah.
That's when we leave. No, every time.